You're listening to the dangerous mind of Mark Yoshimoto Nemkov. No excuses, no BS, no pants.
If you have a transformerless microphone preamp, what happens if you add a transformer to the output? Hey everybody, welcome back to the Microphone Playboy podcast. And what you're listening to right now is the DIYRE CP-5, which is a transformerless microphone preamp, not a single transformer in the circuit. Now you can remedy that by buying the color board that has a transformer on it. There are a couple of different ones. But what I've chosen to do is use an external transformer. This is a UTC A-21 line level transformer, a vintage transformer that I've wired together in order to be plugged in after the preamp before going into the MT-48. And I'm using the BCM104. So let me just show you what it sounds like when I take the transformer back out of the circuit. So this is it with the external transformer disconnected. And as you can hear right away, the sound is a little bit more open, right? You definitely don't hear the influence of the transformer in the way that you did during the first minute of the show. And overall, I do love this sound, but I'm a big fan of versatility. So plugging a transformer at the end of the chain, right before going into my interface, my converter, will add some of that sonic coloration. And the cool thing about doing it externally is that you can actually switch up transformers if you have them. Now let me switch back so that your ears can get that nice big transformer hug again. So here we are with the transformer back in the circuit, and I think right away you can hear a little bit more low end. You can hear a little bit more warmth, and I think you can definitely tell that the high end has been smoothed. A little bit, just a little smoothing of the high end. I like it. And what this does is it adds a level of intimacy. It makes the sound more intimate. And that is a very effective nuance to include into the overall toolkit. To take a preamp that can sound really nice and punchy and clean, and also just be able to add a transformer into the circuit, into the path, and give it this character. So I'm really very pleased with the effect of an external transformer. Now let me tell you a little bit about this one. So this was made by UTC. This is a UTC A-21 line level transformer, and these were made for audio. Basically, the A-21 used for impedance matching, isolation, balancing, unbalancing of audio signals. So it makes it a really good end of chain transformer. It would be the transformer that basically your signal goes through before hitting the output. And I can do the very same thing by patching the transformer in right before the MT-48, before my interface, before my converter. And while I do like the transformerless sound of the CP-5, I feel like if I wanted to add just a little bit of warmth to the low end, it's not an exaggerated bass boost, but more like a subtle thickening that gives the sound more body and fullness. And I think it's very appealing for voiceover. Because it adds a sense of richness and depth. And then you have the smoothing of the highs, which reduces harshness or brittleness. Sometimes you get that depending upon what kind of setup you're using. Transformerless preamps can sound very clinical, but what you get with the transformer is a nice smoothing that's still clear, detailed. It's silky. I would say silky. And depending upon what you're trying to achieve, you could really saturate the A-21. You could really saturate the transformer and induce just a mild, pleasant saturation. And so very, very, very light distortion that when, the transformer is hit with a higher level signal, it adds harmonics, and particularly second and third level harmonics. Which can give the sound a more musical quality, right? It gives a little bit more bigger. It sounds a little bit more live. And this is one reason vintage gear with transformers are often, highly, highly coveted, especially for music. And this harmonic complexity, again, it's rich, it's musical, It enhances the tonal complexity of your voice without making it distorted. So, it's excellent for adding just a touch of color, just a dab of color, without sacrificing, overall quality. So I'm really a big fan of this, and you can use a number of different, line level, balanced output transformers. And all I've done with the transformer is I mounted it in an acrylic souvenir baseball box, like an acrylic cube that you put a souvenir baseball in. And, if you go to a game and you catch a foul ball, you want to keep it, you put it in one of those boxes, right? So if your kid hits his first home run in Little League, you put it in one of those boxes, right? So what I did was I just drilled it out so that I can mount the transformer in there. And then a couple of 1/4-inch jacks going in and out. Very simple job. Very, very simple. And that's all it is. It's just really into the transformer, out to the MT-48 line in. Adding a transformer is a really fun way to add some mojo to your sound. Because again, you could theoretically build a box with several different vintage transformers in it and be able to switch in and out from different transformers if you really wanted to. Because these are true analog plugins. The color board in the CP5, which I do not have turned on. The color board in the CP5 is a great analog plugin that adds a really nice tonal variation to what you're doing. Actually, here, let me go kick it on. Hold on one sec. So this is now, you can hear it now you're getting a little bit more of that mid-forward sound. So this is now the CP5 with the DOA color board with a red 25 op amp in it, set at 50% blend, going into the UTC A-21 transformer and then into the MT-48. Not bad, huh? Here, let's A/B it real quick with the U87. So this is the U87, and the U87 on its own is a microphone that has a transformer in it and is very mid-forward. I'm not trying to copy the sound of the U87. I'm not trying to make a U87 substitute. But again, I think that what you're getting with the 104 sounds a little bit more detailed. Again, the transformerless front end of the BCM 104 really shines here. And then back to the 104. So what does that sound like back to back? Am I actually preferring this sound over the U87? I'm going to have to experiment a little bit more. It's probably the novelty of it. But, again, the idea that you can do simple things. You don't have to necessarily buy a new preamp if you want to have more sonic options. I've had this transformer actually for years. I bought it so cheap. When these were on eBay, they were selling for like $30 for a while. Now they're like $200. It's stupid. But they don't make these anymore. And they do add something really cool. So I'm very much looking forward to more experimentation with the UTC A-21. But again, as you all are the best focus group for sound, for microphone sound, I want to know what you're thinking. Can you hear the difference? Can you hear the difference? Can you feel the difference? What's on your mind? All right, let me know in the comments. Until next time, this is Mark Yoshimoto Nemkov, fading to black.